Okay, hi again. How's it going? I put on a painting shirt today. See, I'm not wearing painting pants though, so I still have to be careful about that. I think what we're going to do is start neutralizing this painting. So, first thing I did was lay a ground, right? And it was just sort of basic. This is a similar one, basic idea of where I want certain elements, where I want my horizon line, that sort of thing. Then this is layer number 2, where I've made it clear where more of these individual planes and shapes are going to go, kind of defined this area a little bit. And now I think there's so much color that it's time to start neutralizing it. All right. Now I'm feeling a little trepidatious about this today. All right, let's just do something. I want a very olivey green. I think I'm going to pull in some of this brown. It's almost too concentrated. Maybe I'm going to take all this brown. I don't know. We'll see. I want something that's more straight up earthy, not just blues and greens, like, you know, the earth is blue and green kind of idea, but more earthy dirt kind of feeling. And I don't know, I'm just going to start putting some stuff in. And I'm going to leave color where I want there to be hints of other brighter colors. I kind of want to pull that down into here. Okay. That's nice. I like that color. I want to see it lighter in some other spots. Give us a more neutral sort of thing. I know I stop and start talking, right? So I'm trying to concentrate a little bit on where the brush and the paint is taking me while simultaneously trying to communicate with you. And it can get a little muddied. Brain's trying to do a lot of different things at the same time. I mean, I can do it. It's fine. It's just going to be a little more slow talking. I'm actually already irritated that I put those two things basically on the same line. That's okay. These are the things I see and think about, you know, trying to create variety and interest, and you don't want to, you know, put all the same kind of colors along the same sort of line of interest kind of thing, you know. Go crazy. Let's just do it. I do think that this layer has to be a little more thoughtful about what I'm trying to make it become. And I do want areas of smoother color that are less kind of expressive and more smooth. I'm going to take this down and make a little bit of a diagonal with it so it's not just square. So it's sort of a conscious thought about form and shape. You know, how flat do I want this to be as far as color goes, as far as value goes, and then what shape am I looking to achieve to create some kind of level of interest. We're going to keep going with that a little bit. I like this idea of adding these neutral areas. And I'm going to keep a little bit of this yellow just in spots and maybe along the edge of that. So if you want to do this yourself, see, now I've got to bring it further, because if I don't, I'm just sort of trying to stick with that midpoint, right? If you want to do this yourself, though, the way I've tried to break it down maybe into these 3 simple steps. Oh, Whoops. Like laying the ground, right? Getting yourself an idea of what your, basic composition may start off as. Laying in a bunch of colors that you're like, figure out, maybe where you want lights and darks and that sort of thing. And then coming in and putting your neutrals down. I'm going to do maybe a straight up brown real quick too. See with this. I think it's raw umber. I know it's an umber. Pretty sure it's raw. It's not dark enough to be burnt. Here. I think it goes here. If you notice that I want more control on my brush, I choke up on it, right? When I want things to be looser, I am more at the end of it, letting loose things happen. When I want more control, I get up close. And I have longer and shorter brushes for simply that purpose. I used to hate the long brushes. I always wanted to paint simply with the short ones, but that's changed over time as I got more comfortable with being expressive, not as self-conscious about my own personal expression. Ooh, where does it go? Yeah, I think it goes here. I'm not going to take it all the way to the end because I'm doing a little too much of that. Yeah, it goes here. That's where it goes. As I talk a lot about, I have a job in special ed now, right? But I've been a professional artist now for, I don't know, what counts as being a professional artist? What counts? When you sell your first piece? Well, then we're going on 30 years or so, 25. But I would just say the last 15, perhaps, of truly, really focusing on the process of making art, and once upon a time making pretty decent living, actually making more money than I make right now. But things change, and life, takes different directions, and I'm not unhappy about the direction my life is in. I get to make art because I'm an artist, and I always will be. And I get to have a rewarding career educating children. So I think that's lovely. I'm very lucky. I'm very grateful. All right. That's a lot of neutrals. I want more whites. I want more blue down in here. Let's do something with our Prussian blue. And I'm going to, at some point, need to add some really, really dark darks too. I'm kind of happy about what's happening here, so I don't know if I want to do anything there yet. Sorry, I'll stop humming. What was I saying though? I don't feel, did I talk about the whole process of doing this, the steps? I don't remember. Step 1, put in your basic composition. Step 2, lay in your colors and some other forms that maybe you like, or some shapes. And step 3, add some more dimension with neutrals and play around in your own little world. A world of your making. I keep stepping on this, you guys. It's too close. Maybe I gotta move it. Oh, this is probably good I'm doing this, huh? So I am, whether it's noticeable or not, there is a limited palette here. Especially when I'm coming in with this neutralizing. And then if I want more color to pop, I'll add another layer, you know, that'll be like the layer that adds your accents and that sort of thing. I've got some blue here. I kind of want to. And just because it's blue doesn't mean it has to be a body of water, right? These are abstract, emotional paintings. Things can be blue simply because you want them to be blue, because it looks good or you like it. I tend to only buy paints that are within a range of colors that I use all the time. Mixtures of colors that I know I like, or out of the tube colors that I know I like, which is a relatively new luxury for me, being able to do the out of the tube thing. It's kind of nice. Whew, I'm sweaty. I'm not necessarily fond of this right here. I feel like that whole shape is going to have to change. It's sort of irritating me. Oh, we'll see though. It's just paint. We can always paint over it again and again and again if need be. Let's mix all of this together. I'm just like, yeah, let's make some weird neutrally colors. Have a little blue in there. They end up being like warm gray almost, or well, cool gray, I'm sorry. Just a cooler gray kind of deal. Let's see. And yeah, here. I'm not really sure if I've decided there's any kind of water or anything here. I don't think so. I think it's just a hill. But, you know, it might be overlooking fields, like farm fields, or there's houses somewhere. Now, at some point, you've got to kind of divorce yourself from the idea of what does this blob mean? What does this combination of shapes here mean? And just kind of let it become. Yeah, because it is irritating me, that right there. And I will leave that green on the edge. So I really do want to neutralize a lot of this. And you're thinking maybe to yourself, well, why did you paint all those colors to begin with? Whether it's obvious or not, a lot of times those colors are coming through and giving those neutral layers their a different quality than if there wasn't those colors underneath there. And it's also provided me with inspiration to come back to and see what I want to turn it into. All right, maybe we'll get that going, that color that I know I really enjoy. It is like the faintest teal sort of thing. It's that bright aqua green mixed with parchment, and it's just so faint. I mean, it probably will not read well. To be honest, I'm not sure where I'm going to put it yet. I know that this area is kind of calling me to do something with it. And I am playing intuitively, but there is obviously years of knowledge that goes into this play. Sorry, I already have a sore throat. I have some sickness in the room already, I think. Just like, really? Already? Come on. Already? It's not fair. Yeah, we're just gonna, I don't like that shape. Let's let it meet this guy here. I'm gonna step back and take a look at it for a second. It's kind of coming out neat, but I feel like there needs to be some actual like whiter whites. But not like a true white. It's still gonna have something in it. All right. Where? Here. Yeah, let's just take it down. I think this has so much potential. It's probably going to take me like 20,000 more layers, but there is some interest here for me already. And I'll show you that other abstract that I'm feeling. The other abstract I feel is quite successful. Just a second. Kind of show you what I did there. Let me check what you can see. You see all of this stuff here, right? This one's a lot more wavy. This is like obviously a lake. There's other lakey stuff up here. But we have these bigger planes that kind of come down too. And here I've put in like a little forest kind of idea. You know, just a lot of interesting things going on. And they don't necessarily have to make sense. And that's what I'm trying to work on while I'm messing with this one here. I was thinking about how it doesn't necessarily have to make sense. I think I need to get some more of those sweeping kind of odd shapes. Maybe this one goes off in this direction like this. Well, no, let's see. Yeah, why not? Kind of like that there, though. I don't want to cover it up. I always paint the sides while I'm painting them. And you can see like, all right, the bottom and the top, I might have to go in and kind of fix that up. But, all right, we're just going to get in here and do it. It feels like it changed the entire quality of the thing to me. And I want this line to be more like this. So there's this intuitive feeling that I have. I don't like that, so I'll paint over it. You know, like I'm constantly responding to what's here based on how it makes me feel. And honestly, this whole time I've been using like the same brush. You know, it's tempting to want to leave a lot of these colors and everything there, but we also, I don't want a lot of sort of discombobulated noise. At some point, yes, it doesn't need to make sense in a realistic sense, but it needs to make sense in a compositional sense and in a color sense and all that. At least it has to make sense to me, because I'm painting it, right? Well, that looks kind of weird. Like this sort of blocked off kind of thing. I could fix it fairly easily, and I think I might. Let's just do this. That makes a little more sense to me. You know, I can't explain what the feeling is, why I don't like something, or why I do like something. It is in my body somewhere. Like, I really don't like what's going on here. And I have to fix it. Just a very, very, very gut response. And yeah, so there's a lot of technique and whatnot, right? A lot of things that I know, but those are just the things that help me express what I want to express. It's not what I necessarily want my art to be about. I think there's a lot of people who really like, honing their process down to very specific ways of doing things. And I don't feel like that's me. I do have some kind of process. I mean, of course, something that's me, my way of doing things, but I don't like to be locked into it. I don't like to obsess about the process itself. I'm more interested in the experience of the making, That definitely interests me a whole lot more than whether I did it the same way as I did my other paintings, that I utilized the same process. So I'm not as interested in that. And that's no shade on anyone who is very much about process. It's just kind of not my bag, It's not why I come to the art. I like things to be a little more intuitive, I guess. Like I want the freedom to play. And that might be why I balk at color theory, probably because I have the privilege of already kind of understanding it, and maybe it's a privilege, right? Like I already know it without thinking about it. And I don't like the rules around it. Like I have to do this and I have to do that. I just want the opportunity to get in and do it without having to plan it out ahead of time. I'll plan it out while I'm doing it because I already know what colors I like that look like the way I like colors, because I already know what colors I like together and that sort of thing. And I'm also really interested in experimenting and not listening to rules. I want to see what happens if I decide to go against the grain. See, now I'm actually really liking that, and I'll probably add a lot more like fine detail and interest in it at some point. I think I'm going to pull this green, might lighten it up and add it in a couple of other places because it's really sort of nice green. Yeah, we should probably do that. And I know I said I wanted that blue, and I'm sort of getting rid of a lot of it. Maybe that is my process. Like if I had to define it, it's just a constant reaction. Wanting the freedom to play and react. I guess that is my process. We've taken so much color down that I want to add more. It's just another reaction to it, right? I want like a true dark brown somewhere too. And more light. Here. That's actually a gray, isn't it? I'm eventually going to kill all this purple. And the blue I said I had to have. Like a constant tug and push, like a tug and pull or whatever. Push and pull with yourself. Battling with your inner voice. Let's do this, let's do that. No, I don't like that. Things like that. All right, I am going to switch up my brush. I think I want something a little smaller. And I'm just going to burnt umber it right out of the tube for a minute. Just going to decide where. I don't know ever how successful anything's going to be when I start it. And that used to be really bothersome. Now that I understand that the reason I ever wanted to do any of this in the first place was for the doing of it. Not for any outcome, not to make a financial profit. And that would be nice, but it's not the why. You know, some of you, if you work in corporate America or other businesses that maybe aren't corporations, I don't know, you might have had to go to some team building stuff and they ask you, what's your why, right? You got to define your why. Now they do that with like business courses too, online too. Got to define your why. So for me in the art making, the why is in the doing. It is in the making of the art itself. That's the why. And for a long time, I didn't know that. And it was a really frustrating sort of thing. And for a long time, I was trying to make it more of a business I could count on. But also the thing is, I don't really like the business aspect of it. So it's the whole, you know, trying to market yourself. And God, don't get me started on social media, how much I hate that stuff. So it wasn't fun. There was so much that went along with the doing of the marketing and the business side of it that I couldn't stand doing it. And it wasn't rewarding. And, you know, to be honest with you, there's times where you think, why should you try to get someone to buy your art? Why? You have to convince them that it adds value to their lives in order for them to want it, right? Or they simply maybe want to possess something beautiful. I mean, who knows what their motivations are. But ultimately, when you make art, it's kind of about you. So how do you convince somebody that they need a piece of you in their lives? Some stranger. For me, I guess I didn't find that rewarding. I found it, I don't know, selling something left a bad taste in my mouth. I wanted it to be pure and innocent, not commercial. But it's probably why I don't have a lot of money. I have enough, don't get me wrong, I'll be fine. You don't need that much anyway. Not as much as, I don't know, all those people who have too much, I guess. I don't know. I hope everybody has what they need. That's all I hope for. I hope everybody has love in their lives. That to me, I don't know, I think I could be the richest person in the world. It wouldn't matter if I didn't have love, but maybe it's easy to say that when you're not rich. I don't know. I have no idea. I wouldn't know anything about that. Here I am rambling again, friends. Oh, some of you have said you like it. I hope that's true. I'm liking this brown a lot as a source of darks. I also am going to start probably throwing in some actual black in spots, or at least a really, really deep navy blue, which is I am often prone to do instead of using straight up black. I know that's noisy. I'm sorry. I have this pre-mixed dark blue that I kind of enjoy. We're going to start putting it in places where I think it might work, but it could be wrong. It's all right. Let's take the risk. We're taking risks. Whoop. There's no way to do any of this without being willing to take a risk or two, without being able to be like, it's not precious, it's paint. It's paint and canvas. The beautiful thing about acrylic is You just keep painting over and over. It dries quickly. You don't even have to wait. Not very long anyway. If you really want to speed it up, get a blow dryer. I used to have a studio blow dryer specifically for that reason, like on muggy days, can't get the paint to dry quick enough. Yeah, see, the addition of darts is really nice. I think we're going to darken up this here. We're going to add something to that. Maybe, yeah, just sort of underneath. And I don't know how obvious it is, but I'm trying to give a variation of line, like deeper pressure, and then I'll pull the brush up a little bit so that that line has variation in it and isn't just the same width all over. It's subtle, but it's there. I don't think I want to take that all the way. I think I want to stop it right about there. I like the way the lines, the different colors sort of cuddle up with each other. Sometimes they sort of like snuggle into each other's crevices. That's cute. So I left this color there, these two colors, to sort of see what was going to happen. And yeah, I kind of hate it. I don't know. Requires looking. I don't know, guys. I'm starting to feel a level of frustration with it. And I can't even exactly tell you why. I'm not 100% sure why. I haven't even wanted to touch the sky because I like it so much, but I do want to define my hill a little bit more, and I'll probably use this darker blue to do it. But I think I'll do the horizon line a bit dark, but right now I have something different on my brush. Yeah, I'm feeling a level of frustration for sure. It's interesting. I feel like the best way to deal with that is to try to be curious about it. Why am I feeling frustrated? You know, I'll let the curiosity take you to a different place instead of going with the frustration. If you're curious, a lot of times those feelings that don't feel so good, they just sort of pass you by. Like a wave crashing on the shore. Now, instead of being frustrated, you can be curious about your frustration. It's a much nicer feeling, curiosity. That's going to be like a white, I've decided. Those colors that I'm frustrated with, I'm going to use that as a moment to create some contrast with that brown, and you make it kind of white-ish. Right here. I'll lighten all that up. And I'm going to allow some of that color to peek through very, very faintly. So you can see there's very little of that. Well, I mean, I've left some purples and there's very little of that bright stuff coming through. There's that sort of green, gold, yellow. I mean, it's all popping through, and I know it most likely can't be seen, but the Sharpie brush markers are coming through and creating some interesting things as well. I think that this painting has a lot of potential. I guess I'm not 100% sure still how to resolve it, but I'm curious about the process. I went all the way across with that, and I think I'll regret it, but that's okay. I'm going to put some foreground type tree thingy looking things in front of that line eventually. But for now, I do want to try to at least define what's happening up here a little bit better. Okay. Let's maybe just take this. Now, let's lighten it up and make it our hill. I'm going to lose a lot of this blue. I think the nice actual bluey blue, but And also, I'm not sure it serves us very well because I want this color to be more muted, so it gives this impression that it's in the background. See in here, again, I've choked up on my brush because I want my hand to be more controlled. Whether it seems obvious when I'm painting or not, I have a very controlled hand, and if anything, I have to fight against it in order to create the loose marks that I want to make. And that's essentially what these long brushes are for, right? They're to trick you into making loose marks and not being so controlled. Trick your hand. Because, you know, a lot of folks have a very practiced hand, learned how to draw a long time ago, and or we're just control freaks, you know, I don't know which. Yeah, let's do that. I'm trying to stay out of your way, but I don't know if that's going to happen. You know, I should do a video about it, but making YouTube videos has really improved my understanding of my own art and my own process, I think. Like the way I see the things I'm doing, it's also made me feel, I don't know, more confident maybe? I think I feel more confident. Like the act of actually just having put myself out into the world with YouTube videos has made me feel more confident in what I'm doing, which I find very interesting and I'm appreciative of. What do we think? I mean, it's coming together great. I think there is so much potential for interest in here. I feel like we have no light though, you guys. I really do. I feel like our light is gone. Like I'm having a hard time really seeing the colors for what they're worth. I don't know. We might have to stop here, which is probably fine. I think we've been going on for a while. So yeah, there could be a part 3 of this painting, I think. I don't know how I feel about like trying to stick to very specific part 1, part 2, part 3, all that sort of stuff. I don't know, because I might not feel like working on this the next time. And then like if I finish it, 2 months from now, I'm gonna have to really go looking for it to find the part 3. But I do like what's happening. And I think that there are some really cool elements to this. That, yes, it sort of reminds me of this other piece that I showed you earlier, right? And I need to do maybe more variation in line and look at all this little stuff. So, you know, there's going to be a lot of that going on eventually. But I also have a smaller canvas here, so I've got to make those elements smaller, more condensed. Because right now, maybe all that's a little too big. Maybe all this is a little too big. We'll have to see how it plays out. So this was fun. I liked it. I mean, I think that I'm really getting a better grasp on the kinds of abstract landscapes that I want to make. Yeah, I think it's going to eventually become really cool. But it's time to end. It's about 4:30 on a Friday, so I have some hanging out with the hubby to do. Dinner's already done in the crock pot. Everybody can feed themselves whenever they want. And it's time to relax for us grown-ups. Until next time, it's great seeing you guys. I hope you're making great art, and I'll see you.